Alright, so we're back to After Effects. We're going to go ahead and create a new project. Overview, AEP, you can save it. Alright, so we're going to create a new composition here and call this lower third. We're going to create a lower third. Background, I'm going to actually choose black. It makes it easier to see your designs and layouts. Default should be HETV 1080 24. Alright. And I'm actually going to start out by importing a file. I'm going to find my Dropbox. 43050 Unit 01 Illustrator. And I'm going to import as. It's really important composition. Illustrator, PDF, EPS, sequence. That's not a sequence. Sequence means it would be like a series of artboards. We just want composition. Alright, open it. Alright, so now you see it'll actually bring in its own composition here. So you can see that A+ is down here. We can turn on our not proportional grid, but title action safe. Alright, and we see that we're positioned correctly. Alright, so you can actually drag a composition within a composition. So what we want to do here is we want to right click on this one and we're going to create shapes from vector layer. Alright, and then we're going to do that with the text, create shapes from vector layer. And now when you do that, it turns off those other layers. You don't really need them anymore. So you can see though, if we Command P, make sure that keystrokes is turned on, you can see, and I'm holding down my shift button to get that. Hold down shift, my space bar to get that grabby hand. I hold down my space bar and I can move this around. I want to move the center point. So with the A selected, I can now click on that center point and try and get it to line up there. It'll kind of pop into place if you're lucky. Alright. I'm going to select this to the green back there and you can get its center point there. Alright, so center points for both is really important that those center points are in the center of the composition. If you don't have, you can hit Command R and get your rulers. And you could drag it out like this. Just to make sure that the center points for both, are right in there. If I hit Z and I get my zoom tool, I can draw a box around it and really zoom in. Hit V on my keyboard and I could get the move tool, or you can click any of these tools up here. You can manually click them. I just want to make sure that that center point is just a little bit off. So I'm going to get my center point move tool and try and move this center point. I keep selecting, there we are. I accidentally kept selecting the guide there. Alright, so those look pretty on. You have a lot of cool animations that you could use if you wanted, animation presets. I got tons. You have behaviors, image, special effects, transitions. I'm trying to just see what I might have. A lot of times you get the best results by just by doing things yourself, really. You can see some of these, like I could stick this on there and see what happens. Now, nothing, I gotta create my own. Get rid of that. Okay, so for right now we're just going to stick with the basics. I'm going to go ahead and click on T for transparency. And I'm going to click on a keyframe here. And I'm going to have it fade in at right around 1 second. Alright. And so I'm creating another keyframe there. I'm going to click this to go back to my first keyframe. And click 100, enter 0, and hit return. So now you see that when we move in, it fades in for nothing. Alright. We can do some cool things with this. We could actually have it spin in and fade in. So I'm going to, just some of these basic tools here. I'm going to have this start maybe right here, right at 1, and or a little bit right before the A plus completely comes in. So I'm going to have this rotation and opacity, and then I'll have it come in fully right about here. Alright. So go back to this, and I'm going to rotate this a couple of times there, so you can see that it rotates there. It's going to kind of rotate in. Alright. Click on these, click on little arrows to make sure that we're at the specific keyframe, and I'm going to hit this at 0. So now if I hit my space bar, you can see it kind of comes in. If that's too slow, you can always drag these, select both your keyframes, and you can drag them in. So it's like, or what you could do, you could have these come in first. You can drag these down here, select both of these keyframes, and move this in. So it's like, maybe have it start just a little bit. So one of them starts first. There you go. That looks pretty good. Alright, so you can completely do a RAM preview. I'm going to save this, AEs. This is one practice. Alright. I can bring this in and completely do a RAM preview and see what it looks like. Looks pretty cool. Alright, so that doesn't look too bad. I'm going to drag this out here. And so now what I can do is I can come back over here to my lower third, and I can actually drag this down here, and we can see it as we move this. So you can put compositions within compositions. I'm going to go ahead and get my title action safe here, going here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new shape layer right below this A+, and I'm going to have like this little shape. Right after it comes, I'm going to have it pop out to the side there. Alright, so I'm going to hit Command plus, kind of look at, and I'm probably going to have it, get my rulers, Command R, probably have it come to about right there, get my rules. Alright, it's not too bad. Alright, so now I'm going to create a new shape layer. And I'll make sure it's below the logo, and I'm going to call this, hit return on the keyboard. You can name it whatever you want. Call it background. Alright. And I'm going to probably go back to Illustrator real quick. On one of these colors that I've been using, this palette. You can kind of practice with it if you want to, see what it look like. Oh, on the wrong layer here. Alright. So that doesn't look too bad. That was yellow. Don't like the yellow. How does that look? That looks actually kind of good. I guess I'll use this color, so I'm going to click here, find this, copy it, Command C, paste it. Alright. And then I'm going to drag a rounded rectangle here And I'll probably start right here and have it come to right there. You can double click on these and resize. Remember that this is in the center point, so it's going to animate from the center, resize from the center. So I need to get this over to the edge here on one of these little handles. Alright, so now I can actually move this. Ooh, bad idea. I guess we'll just kind of keep it like it is. It's not going to matter in a minute because we're going to mask part of this out. Alright, so that doesn't look too bad. Alright, we're going to mask a part of this with the circle. So I'm going to come over here to my ellipse tool and I'm going to choose mask. And I'm just going to draw this right here. And I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click invert it. So what it will do is if it's inverted, it will show everything that's not drawn on top of it. So I need to get that mask. I need to select the mask. And I'm going to have to adjust it to make sure that it's, you know, you can click once, you can get these Bezier curves. Remember these? And this is exactly what I want here. Alright, so I'm just clicking these Bezier curves, these little handles here. If you can't get the handles, I'll show you. If you don't have the handles, if it looks like this, you click it once, just once, and you'll get the little handles, but you got to make sure that your mask is selected. We really want it to be, and we want it to be as as crisp as possible. So select the mask again. Select your handles here. You just gotta play with it until it's just 100% like you want it to be. Alright, well, it's not 100% like I want it, but you're getting the idea of masking hopefully there. And I can click somewhere else aside here, just like deselect it. Alright, so while this looks like we're gonna have this fly in, alright, or like animate in. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one more mask. It really doesn't matter what size it is here. It's just as long as it covers this pink bar. Make sure that when we're on background, make sure you select your mask and not create tool, but you're on your create mask. And we're just going to draw something over this. We're going to animate it out. Alright. And we're going to probably have it, let's see, this mask on top. Well, it's not gonna work like I want it to. We'll have to think of a different solution here. Okay, so I figured out the problem here. This first mask right here, it was a circle. unchecked inverted and just made sure it's subtract. That way I can animate mask 2 and have it come in and out, and it won't affect mask 1, and that's really what we want. So I'm gonna have it, this comes in about right there, so right before it fully comes in, maybe right around here. I'm actually going to animate mask 2. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to have mask path, and maybe right around here make another keyframe, and I'm going to just click my little go back to previous keyframe, and I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to drag this back here. Alright, close enough on this first keyframe. That way when we play through, it comes out. So we can save what we got. You can hit your RAM preview and see what it looks like now. It's pretty cool. Right there. So if we want to fade this out, you know, it comes in like this. Easy, simple way to get the mask to go the reverse. What we do is select both these, copy this, move our playhead somewhere down here, around 6 seconds, hit V, and all we do is we switch the keyframes. We switch the ending to the beginning. So now it does the opposite, and of course we can fade this out up here if we want. So it comes in around here. So now we get our T tool. Let's see, John Rodriguez. All right. What would this be? Oh yeah, we've been using the Futura. All right, making sure it's big enough to read. Designation down here. Command T will give you your tool. Say, okay, we want to go with a italic there. Bring this down. All right. Now, you can just trim these so they don't show up until you want them to. So select this option, and left bracket key will trim the beginning of this. Move this down. Select the, well, that's the John Rodriguez part. It needs to come in right about there. Alt, left bracket key. You can see it comes in like this. And so maybe, okay, Alt, right bracket key, that trims that out, and then the name just right after. So now it looks like this, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And then it goes out. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Not a whole lot of problems, not too much. All right, I'm going to drag this in to about right there. I'm going to make sure we hit T on here, or O for opacity, and we'll just fade this out over about a second. Oop. Playhead's all the way down at the very beginning, at the very end, so we need to playhead right about there. Make sure we're on that. T for transparency. It keeps jumping down there. Alright, so one keyframe there. And then you could just go ahead and move playhead down, select 0, nice. And so now you can do a RAM preview. And some of this might be too slow. I mean, you can always move these keyframes together to make things a lot quicker too. So, I mean, just remember, if it's going too slow, you have your masks here where they come in and out. If these are going too slow, you can move these in. And timing is everything. Just do some hard counts, you know. Save it. Do another RAM preview. That's a lot better. All right. Now the final thing to do is go to File and Export and add to Render Queue. And it'll pop up another tab down here. And we want to go ahead and, this is output 2, click on that yellow title here, and we're in Dropbox. Renders, I already gave it a name so I can save it. Where it says lossless, QuickTime, I want to go Format Options, Animation, and right here is this very, very important RGB plus alpha. The reason that we're doing RGB plus alpha is we want this to have a transparent background so that we could take this lower third, put it into Premiere Pro and put it on top of other video. If we don't select RGB plus alpha, and what's going to happen is we're going to get this black background rendered out with our lower third. So just make sure you don't do that. And then once you do that, you're ready to go ahead and hit render. This will go through the entire process of rendering it out. I'll just open up my Dropbox folder. Alright. So now we'll go to 3050. Unit 1. Renders. Here's my lower third. Double click on it and play it. I can hit play. And you can see now that there's my lower third. Well, it looks pretty good, works pretty well. Not too worried about it. It's a converted file, so I'm not going to hit cancel. It doesn't want to do that animation, so I'm not going to worry about it too much there. Alright, and so that is the way to make a really basic lower third. Of course, I encourage you to go out and look at what other people are doing with lower thirds, other graphics. But we've covered keyframing, importing graphics from Illustrator, and doing some basic masking and some basic keyframing operations. And that's what this first project is all about. So good luck in making your lower third graphics.